Anyway, he got a silly song where the entire song he's just saying the word panda. Panda, panda, panda. It's really stupid.
Unfortunately, I've learned the lyrics to that song. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to, but still, I mean, it's my job. I got to find that type of stuff out so I can tell you, you gray hairs about, the music that we listen to nowadays.
Yeah, whatever, Waterhead. From the 770 area code, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. 4 years ago, the Falcons were spinning the same stuff about Steven Jackson. That's a very good point. Well, I was talking about Adrian Peterson and these reports coming out of New Orleans, how good he looks, how strong he looks. And one thing I will say is, as good as Steven Jackson was, and you're right, he was a big disappointment. We got him basically on his last leg coming out of St. Louis here in Atlanta. Adrian Peterson is not Steven Jackson. Like, Adrian Peterson, as I said earlier, Adrian Peterson is from Jupiter or Mars or Uranus, one of those planets. Steven Jackson was a mere mortal. Adrian Peterson, not from this world, bro. So it's a little bit different. From the 404 area code, says, didn't know that Charlamagne the God was from your hometown. What's the odds that 3 radio legends would be from the same low country town? I mentioned this yesterday. Waterhead, you knew this, right?
Yeah, we
actually had him on my show.
And
right.
Yes, and also, Doug, South Carolina kind of runs deep with you and I, you know what I'm saying, as far as our ties with South Carolina and whatnot. Yeah.
So for people that don't know, I mentioned this yesterday, Charlamagne the God, like on the biggest FM hip-hop radio show in America, very controversial, has a real interesting style of interviewing. But Charlamagne the God is from my hometown, which is Moncks Corner, South Carolina. Yes, a lot of y'all listening right now have never heard of the big city. Probably like 20 minutes from downtown Charleston, the low country of South Carolina. And like my man said, yeah, what are the odds that me and my brother were syndicated for many, many years, probably 5 or 6 years. We were in like 40, 50 markets. And we're all from the same hometown. Well, I'll say this, man. You remember in 300 where they talked about Roman babies are born with an innate ability to fight? Babies born in Moncks Corner are born with an innate ability to talk trash and talk a lot of cash-ish.
So when you're not able to talk trash, what do y'all do? Y'all just discard the baby off of a cliff or something like that?
Well, I hope they didn't do that. Right, that's how they did it in 300, which, by the way, is one of my favorite movies of all times. So yeah, that's what's up. We've actually had him on the online show a couple of times over the last couple of years. From 770 area code, like your producer said, 30. I bet he looks mortal by the time the Falcons see him in December if he's still playing by then. Yeah, that's the thing. He might look fresh right now, and they're probably not giving him the full workload of the rest of the team. And by the time we see him, and remember, we don't play them until late in the season. We actually play them 2 times within like a 3-week span, like in December or something like that. Maybe not December, but, right before the playoffs get started. So yeah, maybe he'll be already ran into the ground by then.
Who would you, I guess, because there's 2 running backs that are hitting 30 or just about over 30, which is Adrian Peterson and Lynch. Who would you say would have the better season or the better impact on their team?
Boy, you're talking about pretty much the same back. You're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You're talking about pretty much the same back, but I mean, Adrian Peterson is going to the Hall of Fame.
Well,
you think Marshawn Lynch is going to the Hall of Fame?
I would vote for him.
What say you, J-Rock?
I would say, if you want to talk about season-wise, I would say Marshawn Lynch would probably have a better season than Adrian Peterson because the Saints have a tandem of running backs.
I think he's younger too. I think he's a little, maybe a year or 2 younger.
Well, yeah, even though he's already retired and now he's coming back into the game in Oakland. And you look at Oakland, they lost some running backs in the offseason, and Marshawn Lynch is coming on. He's basically becoming that guy. He's the guy that's trying to get Oakland the championship before they go to Las Vegas. I think that he will have, if you want to talk stats-wise and carries, Marshawn Lynch is probably going to have the bigger season than Adrian Peterson.
One's a bruiser, the other is a what is he? I guess like he's explosive. Mm-hmm. Adrian Peterson is explosive. Mm-hmm. I think Marshawn Lynch is more
that
of a bruiser.
north-south runner.
There you go.
Mark Ingram's probably still going to get a bulk of the carries there too. It seems like they're making more room for Marshawn Lynch in Oakland. to get some real carries this coming year. Let me grab a call. Dexter from the ATL. Dexter, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show. What you got?
Doug, first of all, welcome back. I had to tag at least 1,200 people throughout some of my social media
That's
feeds.
what's up, Dexter. Thank you, brother.
And I don't know. I may end up getting blocked by Twitter and Facebook, but we'll see. Doug, tell me, Mark Richt said gold mine after gold mine this year and lead into next year's recruiting. Tell me what's that's going to pan out for our University of Miami Hurricanes, man. We've been hurting, but I think Mark is the guy that's going to get us there. Are we halfway there at least? Tell me something good.
Wow. You know what? I haven't been keeping up with Miami recruiting, to be honest with you, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Appreciate the call, my man Dexter from ATL. I haven't been keeping up with Miami recruiting. I do know that I've read some stuff where they say the recruiting and the talent that Mark Richt is bringing in down there is vastly improved from the last couple of years. And one thing you can say a lot of things about Mark Richt, but Mark Richt could recruit, even to the detriment. A lot of people scratch their head when you look at all of the great players that the Georgia Bulldogs have sent to the NFL over the Mark Richt's tenure at the University of Georgia. A lot of people scratch their head. Why didn't they win more games? Why didn't they come closer to winning more national championships? Because, you have had a plethora of 4 or 5-star recruits all of the years that Mark Richt was in Atlanta. If he can do that type of job down in South Florida and get those Miami area kids, those South Florida kids to stay at the University of Miami, that's going to be interesting. And I'm rooting for Mark Richt. I like Mark Richt. It's going to be interesting. I was a Miami fan, a big Miami fan growing up. Still follow the program to a degree. I'm much more into the Georgia Bulldogs, obviously, and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, in our Atlanta sports. But it's interesting if the U is relevant. It's very interesting. I just talked about it yesterday. That 2001 class, man. The talent that they had on that squad was legendary. Like 38 players from the 2001 national championship team went to the NFL. 38 players from one team? That's crazy. So that's the type of talent around there. We know that talent down in South Florida is spread out all throughout the country, all throughout the ACC, the SEC. You see guys all the time from South Florida playing in the Big Ten. You see guys in California at USC playing from the state of Miami, and they can't take it away from them. They probably pound for pound got the best talent in the world. If Mark Richt can get the type of players at Miami that he did consistently at Georgia, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with. Let me grab another call. Dave from Tucker. Dave, thanks for calling the Doug Stewart Show on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game. What's up?
Hi, you're talking about our Clemson quarterback coming out and going to Houston.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think it sounds like he's got the intangibles that are necessary to succeed. The worry I have is in the past crazy NFL now, one description term I've heard for him that has been a death knell for other quarterbacks had a lot of other abilities was accuracy problems.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, if you're going to have a really excellent career in the NFL, you've got to be really point on regarding that. Now, that given, Houston has such a dominating defense that I think he could win a championship while playing basically average quarterbacking for them.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. And you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. The thing about Deshaun Watson is, as I mentioned earlier, this kid's a winner. This kid is an absolute winner, and he will adapt. He's smart. Did have an issue with accuracy this past year through a lot of interceptions in relative terms. But still, if you look at his overall numbers, they were great numbers. And I think the blueprint has been set by the Dallas Cowboys this past year with Dak Prescott and what they did with him. Just know where to go with the football. You got some phenomenal receivers down there in Houston. Don't hurt the team. But I think that he can give you more than Savage. I think he can give you more with his athletic ability than the guy that they have right now running that squad for the Houston Texans. I just think Deshaun Watson's got that kind of like that X factor about himself. Finds a way to win. He kind of reminds me of, and we always do this. We always compare, quarterbacks with other quarterbacks in the style of play. If you really think about it, he reminds me a little bit of Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson is crazy the last couple of years. You've seen these quarterbacks come into the NFL with great success. Russell Wilson and Cam Newton for the most part winning an MVP and Dak Prescott and guys like that. All of these guys running that spread offense. The difference now in football than 10, 15, 20 years ago is these guys take so many snaps. They take so many snaps. They run these 4 or 5 wide receiver sets, these spread offenses. They throw the ball so much more now in high school and college than they ever did. When you talk about these 7-on-7 little camps that they have now, like they throw the ball so much more. They read defenses so much more. They grew up in the Madden era where they ran 1,000 gazillion plays in playing Madden video football games. I know that's a crazy comparison to make, but it's really not that crazy. These guys just have played and thrown the ball so much more than quarterbacks in the past. So you're kind of expecting them to come into the league now and to be successful. What? Russell Wilson won a Super Bowl, went to 2 within his first 5 years in the league. Cam Newton made it to a Super Bowl. And then you look at what Dak Prescott did last year. It's a different day and time for these quarterbacks right now. If Dak Prescott can have the success that he had at Dallas last year, a true freshman in some words for the Dallas Cowboys, if Russell Wilson can go to 2 Super Bowls within a 4-year span, why can't Deshaun Watson do it? I really believe that. I like that kid, man, and I'm rooting for him. I always root for Georgia kids, period, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I always root for Georgia kids, period. I always root for South Carolina kids. That's the state I'm from. So I want to see them successful, and I just want to see them shove it in the face of all the naysayers. And I want to see Deshaun Watson shove it in the face of the naysayers that took Mitch Trubisky, a guy that started 1 season of college football. Yeah, I want Deshaun Watson to be successful. Not against the Falcons, but I want him to be successful. All right? Back in a couple minutes. We got the Chop Shop coming up soon. Don't go away. The Doug Stewart Show. Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
The exhilaration. The chanting. The unity of the crowd. The feeling that this is what you want to be a part of.
Front of the box, headed back post, and it's going to be another one.
What you've got to be a part of. We believe.
Because we believe in sports. Atlanta United play here. Sports Radio 92.9 The Game.
Daddy, where do babies come from?
Honey?
Mommy went to the store.
Oh, well, you see, there's a mommy and a daddy, right?
Right.
And see, when they call Geico, they could save a bunch of money on car insurance.
Oh, really? And that makes them happy?
Yes, that makes them very happy.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we could have this talk, Sunshine.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Donate your car today with 1-877-CARS for Kids. We're a recognized 501c3 charity organization, so you'll receive a maximum tax deduction. What's more, you'll receive a vacation voucher of 3 days and 2 nights. Also on the web at carsforkids.com.
1-877-CARS for Kids. Donate your car today.
Remember, that's cars with a K.
Hurry into Old Navy today and tomorrow to get jeans for the whole family on sale. Just $15 for adults, $12 for kids. Plus, starting today, redeem your Super Cash to save even more at Old Navy and OldNavy.com. Super Cash valid 6/3 to 6/11. Jeans valid 6/3 to 6/4. Select styles only.
Progressive presents Mindfulness with Flow.
You are a mighty fortress of supreme knowledge. Progressive Direct has not only revealed their rates, but those of their competitors. If you were any more in the know, you would be drowning in, the know.
Compare Progressive Direct rates with competitors' rates, because knowledge is power. Visit Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Imagine I'm your Wi-Fi signal in the center of your home, coming in loud and clear. But when I start to move over here, not so much. Thinking about heading into the basement? Not with your Wi-Fi. And here, well, there's this. That's why there's panoramic Wi-Fi from Cox. It casts a wider net with an advanced modem and extender so it reaches every corner of your home. Here, and here. Welcome home a new kind of internet. It's wall-to-wall fast panoramic Wi-Fi from Cox.